quality of the games you're getting in this Game Pass collection is really good and really nice. I think it's a nice little palette. As you might notice from the list, we're going to go through it in a minute, but there's not really any like super modern games in here, not like games that came out in the last year or so, but it does have a nice collection here. It's kind of like the Xbox is slightly older games, but they still kind of rock. So let's go through it. So obviously Among Us, that's a huge viral hit.
Yep.
If you want to throw your friends under the bus and be sus about them, that's great. Descenders, that game is great. If you haven't played it, it's a downhill biking game. They're one of the few people who've come. Well, one of the big fans of Game Pass. They were talking about how much money they've made because of Game Pass and how much they love the service. So it makes perfect sense to put it in the core edition. Dishonored 2. One of the best stealth games ever made by Arcane, who've just made the masterpiece that is Redfall. No, they made good games. This is Dishonored 2 is one of their really good games worth checking out. Doom Eternal, which came out the same day as Animal Crossing. That hasn't really got anything to do with anything, but is very violent. It's a good first-person shooter. It's a lot of fun. If you're into first-person shooting, check it out. Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited. So Tamriel Unlimited, I'm pretty sure it's just the base version of Elder Scrolls Online. Am I wrong, or do you know?
Well, it's an MMO version of Elder Scrolls. And it's been going on for many years. And there's like Microsoft have been like boosting it in their like conferences, and it just seems as if they really want people to try this game. But with the release of the statement involving with the transit experience at the Cinemax, I think this might be a bit awkward considering like how the staffing is just like. Well, I mean, we discussed it earlier in the podcast, so let's not like reveal too much. So
it'll also be interesting to see what happens once World of Warcraft becomes a part of the Xbox catalog. That's really interesting.
True.
Fable Anniversary, so the remake of the original Fable game. Fallout 4, which is probably people's least favorite Fallouts, but it's pretty good. It's not a bad game. Actually, no, I lied. At least it's better than 76.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So, if you want if you want a Fallout game, Fallout 4 is just perfectly fine. But I think it's better if you have Fallout 3, of course.
For sure. I think they should have put Skyrim on here, to be honest. But hey, whatever. Fallout 4 is pretty cool. Forza Horizon 4, which is based in Blighty, the good old UK. And it has seasonal effects where it goes from winter to summer to autumn to spring. It's a really fun racing game. I think Forza Horizon 5 is slightly better with the Mexican theme with the volcanoes and all the like stuff like that and the sandstorms and stuff. But if you want a good racing game, Forza Horizon 4 is fantastic and is really worth playing. But yeah, that's what I was saying about older games. It's like we don't have Forza Horizon 5 on here. We have Forza Horizon 4 for some reason. But still a really good game. I
think they just don't really want to get the latest releases here and just put all the classics here too. But I have to say, so far it looks like an interesting list. Like Gears 5, it doesn't have like Gears 4 on the list, so you're basically playing like the 5th entry down the line. But it's very good though. Yeah, exactly. Grounded. We've been playing the game to death, and I have to say, we've been like having multiplayer sessions, building houses, and to be honest, it's so much a great experience. So I'm glad this just came on a core catalog.
Yeah, I wanted to mention Gears 5 briefly before you move on. Sorry, is that this was one of the first games that got upgraded for Series X and Series S. It was a launch title for the Xbox Series S and X. If you want something that shows how powerful the Series X is, Gears 5 is beautiful. Check it out. It is an awesome game to push the hardware. It's got a nice open world stuff. Got some good battle modes. It doesn't look like it comes with Hivebusters. Hivebusters is a really good DLC as well. So if you play Gears 5, enjoy it. Check out Hivebusters as well. Really worth doing. And then, as you said, Grounded, awesome. It is a survival game similar to like if you ever play Minecraft, it's got a similar vibe to that. But you got giant. Well, you're tiny. So really, it's giant spiders and ants and stuff, but there's normal size, but you're tiny. You know what I mean? They seem big to you as a person. Then you have the odd choice of Halo 5 Guardians. I don't know why they put that in here. I think they should have put Master Chief Collection, personally.
And there's also Halo Wars 2 as well.
Yeah, so Halo 5 is considered the worst Halo game of the series. It's still pretty good. I mean, even a bad Halo game is still decent to play. But I would recommend, if you're going to play a Halo game, I recommend just getting the Master Chief Collection, to be perfectly honest.
You were saying that you would prefer... You were saying as if you would prefer to have Master Chief Collection on it because it gives you all the Halo games on there. So I think this would have been a more sensible choice because Halo 5 Guardians, I don't know if putting it on the core catalogue is going to encourage more of the players to go into it. But so far, like, you have a multiplayer and you'll find most of the players in, like, Team Slayer, and you may not be able to find them in other modes. Which
it's not great.
So you don't have much of a choice there. So you'll be left like playing the main story, which is pretty much the armpits of this whole game, to be honest. But right now, like if you get the Game Pass core, then you just have to end up dealing with Halo Infinite multiplayer only. So if you want to get the campaign, you have to upgrade to a higher tier of Game Pass.
I was going to say, so yeah, try and get... Halo Infinite is free online, though, so maybe play Halo Infinite if you want to play an online multiplayer version of Halo. Or get the Master Chief Collection for cheap. Because as you were saying earlier, it was on sale earlier, so try and get maybe Halo Infinite, Halo Master Chief Collection if you can. Then we have Halo Wars 2. Not played much of it, but it's supposed to be one of the best RTSs on console. People recommend it. If you're into RTSs, give it a shot. Hellblade Senua's Saga. We got the new Hellblade coming out this year, which looks incredible. If you want to get prepared for that, check it out. It's kind of got like a walking sim vibe to it. If you're a Sony fan and you love sad people walking simulator games like The Last of Us and stuff like that, Hellblade will be right up your street. It's a pretty decent game. Check it out. Human Fall Flat. This is a very silly game with a lot of like ragdoll physics and stuff. It's just a fun co-op game. It's like kid friendly. It's fun. Check it out. Inside is creepy as hell, but it's a platformer. I don't want to spoil the ending or anything, but it has a really weird ending. But it's really interesting game. It's about 2-3 hours long. It's a good platform if you want to have something just to chill and just play through. Then Ori and the Will of the Wisps, one of the most beautiful games on Xbox. Metroidvania, where you play Ori, the spirit rabbit. I don't know what to call him. He's like a rabbit, but he's like a ghost. And then you have like an owl friend, and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's really fun. It's like a giant forest. It's like designed like a Metroid game. You unlock certain abilities to get into certain sections. You just open up the map and like explore the map. You know, if you play the Metroid game, it's very similar to that, but it's very, very pretty.
It's also a good choice to put on the catalogue there. But
I think it's a brilliant game for the catalogue. Definitely check it out if you haven't played it. So then we have Psychonauts 2, which I haven't finished yet, but it is a 3D platformer similar to like Banjo or Super Mario 64 or whatever, but it has psychological stuff. You're going into people's minds. Stuff.
So last year, it's released last year, and I've been playing it for a bit of a while. It just plays like Psychonauts, where only it's like prettier and has more features with it. But I think I would certainly recommend playing the Xbox original and check it out. But then if you're on the core edition, and you just like stuck with Psychonauts 2, but it's still a pretty good game, so it's worth checking out if you're into platformers, that kind of thing.
And then finally, the final one, State of Decay 2, the Juggernaut edition. State of Decay 2, open world zombie game. Not my thing, but I've heard people really enjoy it. So if you like the sound of that, check it out. State of Decay 3 is coming at some point. We don't know when. It was announced in 2020, and we haven't heard anything since. So God knows when that's coming out. But yeah, that is the collection. It's interesting. There's a nice little, and there's going to be more games added, and they said they're going to change it every 2 or 3 times a year. So it's interesting that we get this little catalogue. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. and follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.